not every CEO today has done a BD kind of a role or a tenure in their career, but they have this intellect in order to perceive what the customer is saying.
So I said your competition is not with these 35 people, your competition is with those 4,000 people who have done HR in the same year, same batch, and companies are not going to look only to hire from a specific institute, they will hire from all multiple institutes. So you need to stand out amongst all those 3,000-4,000 people so that the companies feel that they would want to hire you.
So how important is the brand name of a B school initially and after you have reached a senior leadership level? Today we are at IIEBM Pune and we have a roundtable discussion with two of our very senior alums, one placement officer and one current student who just passed out. This conversation will spark very interesting discussions about careers, jobs, career transitions, placement scenarios, and current student MBA experience. So we'll start with introducing our panel.
Hi everybody, my name is Bridul Nagpal and I'm passed out 2004-2006. I work as Associate Vice President for e-mobility business of Kalyani Powertrain. It's a part of Bharat Forge Group in Pune.
So I'm Suraj Pathak. I passed out in 2009 and presently I'm working as a manager HRBP for NICE. It is an IT product-based organization in Pune itself.
So I am Surbhi Sahani. I'm the Corporate Relationship Officer. It's been almost a year I'm with IIBM.
Hi, my name is Sudisha and I'm from batch 22-24. I just got passed out and now I'm working as a CDO in Colgate Palmolive.
Awesome. So Disha, are you here with pen and paper because you have alums right in front of you? You can ask them questions directly.
Yes, but actually I have already interacted with them when I was in past 22, 24, 23 every year, and whenever it's a very cool conversation we had, we can connect with them anytime, they are always available for us.
Awesome. How have you been in touch with the B school?
I have been visiting the institute every year. So I come here, I share my life experiences. What is it that the corporate world is expecting? So I come here Saturdays, take up sessions, workshops, whether it's finance, marketing. The idea is to share what is it that we are experiencing and what is it that they can learn on day one itself.
I also did a similar session for HR folks about 4 weeks before. And I gave them some statistics of how many MBA colleges in India, in Pune, how many in HR specialization, and how many in this institute. So I said your competition is not with these 35 people, your competition is with those 4,000 people who have done HR in the same year, same batch. And companies are not going to look only to hire from a specific institute, they will hire from all multiple institutes. So you need to stand out amongst all those 3,000-4,000 people so that the companies feel that they would want to hire you.
Right. Again, demand and supply.
Yeah.
That is one thing that when I was talking to students also here at IIBM, they were very proud in saying this, that there's a transparent culture and you get to talk to senior leadership or even the managing director of the organization whenever you want to. So what are some other values that probably you found useful while you were studying back then?
The prime, I would say, is the sharp focus on discipline and leadership. That is something that you experience coming out from a small town, and whenever you are at IIEBM, this is something that is instilled in you from day one. The finest experience that I have started experiencing over the past few years now is that whenever you come to the institute, you get greeted by Jai Hind. So that's something unique. And this is greatly being appreciated by industry as well. So, and people are absolutely comfortable. So when I talk to my customers now in sales, I don't shy away in saying Jai Hind. So I think that's really deep dive and in terms of leadership and discipline.
Mm-hmm.
I second that. It stands out. I mean, I had picked few interns from IIBM in my previous organization, and for those 2 months, they would see any senior, they would just get up and say Jai Hind, which kind of stands out in the group, and people were like, oh, there's something new that we are seeing. People appreciate it, they love it, and that is when they inquire, oh, which institute are you from? And then that helps them strike a conversation with a lot of people. And I think a lot of it percolates from the fact that the then president of the institute, Colonel Marwa, he belongs to army background, and army is supposed to have a lot of great management lessons to be taught to people. So I think that just percolates to all the individuals in the organization.
Awesome. I think this value has, I mean, it's still as pertinent as it was back in their times. And so what are some of the practices that you guys put students to instill the discipline and the kind of management lessons that they are talking about?
So there are proper rules, there are proper timings they have to follow, and there are punishments they are given. Even we get such feedbacks that this discipline is really important, and it is made sure that they do follow it.
Understood. Were you punished during your 2 years here?
No, luckily no. Way we greet people with Jai Hind, that is something like my placement was a pool campus placements, and over there I was the center of it because I introduced the panel in the GD and in PI as Jai Hind. So they were like, okay, who is she from the panel? So I was quite a different standout.
That's very important that the culture helps you stand out, because that is what students should do later, because right now the hyper competitiveness in the job market through values like this is probably one way to stand out in the job. You had a very interesting career journey. So you did your MBA in finance, and now you're working as a associate vice president in sales. How was your journey like, and did you consciously picked up certain things or picked up certain career decisions that kind of helped you to reach where you are right now?
So when I started my journey in a finance role, I started as a research analyst with an investment boutique where I was studying mutual funds and equities. And when I started getting deeper into investments, I think destiny had it. So I got an opportunity to work with a company called Eaton, where I started working with a very profound, intelligent, high IQ individuals of mergers and acquisitions. So I think they were looking at somebody who's very young and naive, not very expensive at that time, and they got me inducted in that team. So I was doing a lot of groundwork in terms of analyzing P&L statements, companies' balance sheets, evaluate and recommend whether to go for as a potential acquisition target or not. I think I did that for about 7-8 years, and then I realized that it's enough that I've looked at the business from the inside. It's important that I now look at the business from the outside. So customer facing is like mirror to the reality. So I approached one of the fine leaders at Eaton, and they were fortunate enough to give me a program management role and not exactly the customer facing role. And that's how my journey started.
Is sales and customer facing role necessary for you to eventually be a senior leader at any organization?
Not necessary to be in that position, but very relevant to have that perspective. Not every CEO today has done a BD kind of a role or a tenure in their career, but they have this intellect in order to perceive what the customer is saying. So it is not important that you need to be in HR, you need to be in IT to be able to be the CEO of the company, but you need to have that perspective. Your ability to imbibe what's happening in the market is very, very. Otherwise, you will miss out on being successful, or rather than launching a successful product for the market.
Okay, now I wanted to kind of ask you, what does a manager HRBP do exactly?
Yeah. So apart from making rangolis, we do a lot of things. So my basic core work is to ensure that I'm aligning HR strategies with business objectives. That could be through getting talent needs from business, fulfilling those talent needs, performance management. It could be organization development. It could be various other initiatives that we handle. So we want to ensure that, so we work very closely with leadership to drive business outcomes through people initiatives. So that's the core of my work. And by virtue of that, then obviously there are various functions that we handle, whether it is compensation and benefits, whether it is performance management. So various functions, but then we have to closely work with the business, because at the end of the day, you're working for those guys. Right. You need to understand what is it that they want, and then see how best you can do it without affecting the existing morale of the existing employees. So,
one question I had, so out of curiosity, non-MBA HR roles after you do your MBA in HR, what is the kind of difference in both of these roles?
So as I said, if you do not have an MBA degree, you can still get into HR, irrespective of what your previous experience has been into. But then you can probably do a very operational job of maybe at an execution level. But then if you have to get into strategic roles, if you want to get into leadership roles into HR, that MBA will always give you an added advantage, because then you are able to see things from a very holistic standpoint of what exactly it means to drive business outcomes. So that perspective probably helps. Courses like MBA or any strategic HR certification would help you build that kind of perspective. So that is where it adds. Yeah.
When you speak to recruiters, and because of AI, a lot of things are expected to change eventually, do they expect students to upskill themselves in AI specific way or integrating that into their workflow or the job that they do? What do they expect?
So I think they at least expect the students to know basic, though they are MBA students, but they need to know basics of a little of softwares. Nowadays recruiters, they don't really go with your specialization. Apart from your domain specific knowledge, you need to have other skills, abilities. There should be that flexibility, you should have that problem solving skills. These are really required apart from what you've learned.
Whether we are in finance, marketing, sales, any operations, we are coming up with solutions which are based on AI. Like if we want to track down something, or basic on from the ground level, like track down a salesman, it is all becoming into AI. So we need to know it very vastly, like how it is being functioned.
Yeah, irrespective of the specialization, you need to know these basic things.
Got it. Let's talk specific to IIBM now. So what are some new companies or sectors that you guys are trying to get on board for the batch coming?
So we are focusing more on finance companies, finance sectors. FMCGs have already been here since, like they've been the main recruiters, like PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Colgate, Palmolive, Deloitte. Like we have these from years, so they are there. Rest, we are trying to focus on the real estates. So we've got Godrej Properties this year with us. We also have different supply chain management companies that have come on board. So
this time, in fact, we had BNY Mellon as well, which is one of the company.
One final question I want to like ping pong here on this table. So how important is the brand name of a B school initially and after like you have reached a senior leadership level?
My first 19 years, I've never felt the need, because I was very focused on skill development and telling my management what I'm capable of, which was share hard work. So the answer is yes and no. No, not immediately required in the first 10-15 years, but probably as you progress and you want to go up the ladder of the organization, probably there is a need for you to relearn some of the skills which these prime B schools are offering.
So brand does matter. Like I said, he also said it would be a 50-50. And organizations these days are getting very experimental. For them to pick internships, they would try and check different colleges and see how the interns are doing, and if at all the interns they like it, then they probably add that college to the list of final placements. But then there are very organizations who are very focusing, okay, I want only this kind of pedigree students from these institutes. So it's a very mixed bag, to say so.
On an ending note, do you have any questions for them which you can ask on behalf of our audience?
Yes, of course. Like now, it's been 4 months for me to be in a corporate, and it's just a learning phase. Like I guess 2-3 years, it will be just me to be learning, be a sponge and soak whatever knowledge I am getting it. So what your, like being in sales, what is your perspective to be like, how should I go forward like in sales?
Oh, very interesting, Radha. And that's what I told the recent batch also to the marketing students. A good sales person never cribs about price. They always focus on the value proposition of their product. If you know what your product is capable of delivering and adding value to the consumer, you have all the weapons to be able to go and kill it. You have the ability to go and crack that deal. Second important, which I found very, very later, because I saw a lot of wrong examples in terms of work ethics, especially in a sales guy. A sales guy is a strong human being. They face rejections like an athlete. So you never give up, you keep trying, and you have the ability to face rejections. That's what makes you strong.
Awesome. I hope you guys liked today's episode and you picked up a lot of insights. If you like this episode, do let us know in the comments below. Also, there will be a link in the description which talks more about IIEBM and the courses that they offer. So do check that out. Meanwhile, do let us know which other video and other B school you want us to cover next. Meanwhile, this is Saif from Team Inside IIM signing off.